Good morning. Welcome to the First Religious Society, Unitarian Universalist of Newburyport, Massachusetts. I'm Jane Toohey, and I have the privilege of being your worship associate this morning. I also have the great privilege and honor to welcome and introduce you to our speaker, the Reverend Dr. Sushmita Mukherjee. Sushmita is truly a border crosser and a bridge builder. She is a scientist, an artist and a poet, an academic and a dean, a spiritual counselor, and a dreamer. Sushmita is the co-director of the Imaging and Image Analysis Center and an associate professor at the Weill Cornell School of Medicine in New York City. She also serves as dean at the One Spirit Learning Alliance and Interfaith Seminary, also based in New York City. She is an ordained interfaith minister and a trained spiritual counselor. When Sushmita describes Hinduism, I hear echoes of Unitarian Universalism. Hinduism includes a diversity of spiritual ideas, but has no ecclesiastical order, no unquestioned religious authorities, no governing body, no prophet, and no binding holy book. Hindus might be pantheists, atheists, agnostics, monotheists, humanists. Sound familiar? I have been blessed to have Sushmita as my first-year dean at One Spirit. She challenged me to step out of some of my own old fear-based ways of thinking and being in the world, and to step forward with trust in spirit and in my own spiritual calling. She offered me, as she will offer you today, an opportunity to come into a realm of rich with mythic images, fables, archetypes, and the wonderful world of our own mysterious inner psyches. So I thank you very much for being with us today, Sushmita. We come together today as a church community, online and in person, committed to peace, love, and justice. Our core values are authentic connection, courageous action, love, spirituality, and wonder. Our mission and our invitation to all of you is to come as you are, exactly as you are, journey together in love, act with courage, and to transform our world. If you are visiting us today for the first time, welcome. We are glad that you are here. I want to wish you also a special welcome to my classmates from One Spirit, some of whom are here and some of whom are joining us online, and also to Sushmita's faculty colleagues who are joining us online. If you are joining us online, you will find a link to the order of service in your reminder email or just below the live stream window. I call your attention to the order of service to all of the great things going on this week, but especially I would draw your attention to next week's Sunday service, our annual youth service, May 22nd, which will be outside at Atkinson Common. Please join us. Also, the auction committee has been hard at work planning this year's event, which will take place on June 10th at the Newburyport Community Center. There is still time to make your donations to be included in the auction. Do you make handmade jewelry or know a shop owner who might be willing to donate a gift certificate? Could you lead a walk on the beach and identify seashells or offer a barbecue lunch? Stop by the auction table after service to share your donations. Every Sunday, it is such a blessing that we can gather. So please, let us give ourselves to it. Welcome again. It is good to be together.
Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shiva Kshamadhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute. Friends, and the to-be friends of Newburyport, and all those who've come from far away, welcome. Today we are here to invoke the Mother Goddess, the primordial feminine, the womb and the tomb, from whom everything arises and into whom everything relaxes at the end of our time here. Maybe for multiple cycles, we don't know. So I will start with a few verses from this book that is called Devi Mahatmya. It is a book that describes, it's a Sanskrit treatise that describes the mother goddess in her form as Shakti, which is energy or force. And later on, when I do my teaching, you will hear more about two of these goddesses, Durga and Kali. And these are words in Sanskrit, and if I translate them word for word, we'll stay here for 3 hours, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chant, and Sanskrit is a very phonetic language, so in some ways, maybe one of the best things you can do is just let it wash over you and see what lands. I will, however, give you a few anchors, so you can listen out for those words that get repeated again and again. And some of those words, the first word that I'll point out is mataha, or matri, or mater. These are all words for mother. Then we have Devi, or Ishwari, which are words for goddess. Namaha, or Namo, or Namastute is I bow to thee, I bow to you. And the last word is prasida. Prasida literally translates as be pleased. So it's a term of beseechment, of asking. Okay? So I will chant these pieces. They are from Devi Mahatmya, which is also called Shri Shri Chandi. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matri Rupena Sangasthita Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. Om Devi Prapannati Hare Prasida, Prasida Mater Jagato Akhilasya, Prasida Vishweshwari Pahi Vishwam, Tvamishwari Devi Characharasya. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Srishti Sthiti Vinashanam Shakti Bhute Sanatani Gunashray Gunamay Narayani Namostute. Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute. Pranatanam Prasida Tvam Devi Vishwarti Harini Trailokya Vasinam Yidhe Lokanam Varada Bhava. Om Shanti 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 Om. And with this invocation, I welcome you to this service today.
Please join us in reciting the chalice lighting, which can be found in the order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Each week, we also light 2 candles of peace, representing 2 places on earth we lift up and remember as a sacred encounter with our world. There are untold numbers of places on earth that need peace. These 2 we especially hold close in this service and through the week ahead. After each candle is lit, I will say, "To this we respond," inviting you to join together in saying, "Peace, Sol, Shalom." Our first candle this morning is lit for the city of Newburyport, which on Friday evening experienced nothing short of a miraculous coming together and celebration of our LGBTQ youth. Just around the corner on Green Street, hundreds of people gathered, many of whom I'm looking at, to support our youth. Those gathered created a wall of welcome, which included people of all ages, NAGLI and Youth Services, which were the organizers, members of the Huddle, the president of the Masonic Temple and fellow Masons, the DJ drag queen, Ms. Diamond Wigfall of Salem, and of course, the youth attending the dance. There were no protesters. Love did indeed prevail. And to this we respond, "Peace, Sol, Shalom." Our second candle this morning is lit for Buffalo, New York, where 10 people were killed yesterday at a supermarket by a man with a gun. Early reports suggest that this was a premeditated, racist hate crime against the Black residents of Buffalo. We pray for those harmed by this all too common tragedy and pledge again to continue our work in ending the epidemic of gun violence in the United States. To this we respond, "Peace, Sol, Shalom." Please rise in body or in spirit, and let's join in singing our opening music. This morning, Reverend Sushmita will lead us in a mantra for peace. Shanti Pat. She will intone a line and we will repeat after her. You can find the words on the insert in your order of service.
Shanti Pat literally translates as reading for peace. Om Tyo Shanti. Antariksha Shanti. Prithvi Shanti. Apa Shanti. Oshadhaya Shanti. Vanaspataya Shanti. Vishwe Deva Shanti. Brahma Shanti. Sarva Shanti. Shanti Reva Shanti. Sama Shanti Redhi. Om Shanti 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 Om.
Let us join our voices in our affirmation of faith. The words are printed in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. Please be seated.
Good morning. Wanted to get your attention with our hats. Renee and I and the rest of the group are excited to give you an update on the Spring Gala and Auction. It's coming up in 4 weeks, and it's been over 10 years since FRS has held a fellowship and fundraising event like this. We're looking forward to it, as so many of you have expressed you are as well. Our theme this year is tipping our hats to love, and Renee is going to speak a little bit about how this theme was chosen.
Good morning, everyone. So when I volunteered for the first Mission and Vision Initiative 3 years ago, I could not have possibly foreseen all that would happen between then and now, including wearing a cardinal on my head. The things I do for love. And indeed, that is the reason why we chose that theme for this year. Thinking of our values of wonder, authentic connection, love, and courageous action. Truly. And I would be remiss in not saying that it was my beloved husband who said, "Hey, let's do funny hats as a theme." But we wanted to come up with something that was a little bit more serious and had some meaning behind it. And so Michelle did a search online, and she found this print, which Stephen is holding up. It was painted by an artist named Tavernell. She is from Trinidad and Tobago. It's called Tipping Our Hats to Love. And she wrote, "The first step to truly embracing our differences is to show respect and admiration for each other. Hat tipping is a nonverbal expression of acknowledging the presence of someone you hold in high regard. It is also a salute of honor and recognition." The intention behind the auction is certainly fundraising. More than that, it is about fellowship, it is about friendship, and it is about fun. We are looking for a way to honor each other, to be together, to have a good time, to laugh, to sing, to dance, and to just enjoy the sheer pleasure of being with each other, God willing, should the COVID no longer be the threat that it is, and we will continue to pray that it will not be, and if it is, then we will find another way. In the meantime, please consider joining us. Come to the event. Come join this wonderful group of volunteers. Find a way to take part, because all of this is just in the name of love.
Many hands make light work. We need many more volunteers for the night of the auction. And Renee's will be putting a Sign Up Genius poll on, will come up in the steeple this week, and you can look for it on our webpage, on the website as well. We have so many wonderful donations so far. They spoke of a couple of them this morning. Thank you to everyone who has generously offered a service, an item, or an event for the auction. A few of the fun things we have are a baked stuffed lobster dinner, a 4-hour sail with lunch out from the American Yacht Club here in Newburyport, and a Lakeside, Maine cottage stay. Are you and your teenager maybe a good painting team? A couple of hours of interior or exterior painting is always a very popular item. Do you have a vegetable garden and are willing to share some of your harvest from this summer? I heard in the past that there was someone who had an abundance of tomatoes in their garden, and they had a tomato and I think wine dinner at their home, and that was enjoyed by many. The possibilities of what you can offer are endless, and there's still time, as we keep letting you know, to make your donation. You can come see us at the auction table after church today, or go online and there's a form. Tickets will go on sale next Sunday. They'll be $35, which includes food and beverages. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas, please reach out to me, Renee, Vern Ellis, or any of us. We can help answer your questions. We're very open. We want to hear your feedback and your ideas, and our contact information can be found in the order of service. Thank you.
I just want to thank all of the volunteers for the auction. It is indeed a fun and amazing event. And if for any reason the ticket price, that is not a hindrance. So if for any reason that would be a problem for you, I know there are others who are happy to offer tickets. And so it is for everyone to come. Another thing they didn't mention that happened on Friday was, I think it was, Cynthia's not, but a $400 bottle of scotch was donated. And the hubbub in the office was like, and I had to remind the staff, no, this is for the auction. So it really is a lot of fun, yes. At this time, we'll sing our children to Young Church with number 413, Go Now in Peace.
Thank you. Those hats were so inspiring. The new standard of sartorial splendor has been set. Let us rise to it. The generosity of our community is an essential ministry that supports the work of our church in Newburyport and beyond. Each week, 50% of our Sunday offering not designated to pledge goes to a local community partner engaged in the important efforts of transforming our community. The May Shared Collection will support Emmaus House. Emmaus yearly serves more than 2,000 homeless women, men, and children throughout the Merrimack Valley and the North Shore. On any given night, roughly 300 people call Emmaus home. More than 80,000 meals are served yearly to shelter residents, and many housing and program participants receive emergency food from the Emmaus Food Pantry. 91 cents of every dollar raised goes directly to the Emmaus programs. If you wish to give online, please use the link in your order of service or the video description. You can also make a contribution via text message, and of course, you can always mail a check to the church as well. The offering will now be gratefully received.
We are blessed by one another. Each Sunday, we take time to lift up the joys and the sorrows of our beloved faith community. Betsy Hazen, our pastoral care associate this morning, will light candles as I read the joys and the sorrows that have been shared with me in advance of today's service. If you would like to share a joy or a sorrow to be read in the service, you can always email betweenus@frsuu.org or directly to me. And you can also write a joy or a sorrow in our journal that is found at the entryway to the sanctuary each Sunday. This morning, we light a candle of sorrow to share the news that Jean Anderson lost her brother James Anderson of Mystic, Connecticut on Friday, May 13th. Please hold him and the entire family in the light and in your love. We light a candle of love and care and concern as Eliza Goodall shares and asks for prayers for a peaceful transition for her mother, Dinora Goodall, who is in hospice in Connecticut. We also light a candle of care and concern for Janet Delmeyer's brother, Devin, who is in Japan, suffering with a serious lung infection. We light a candle of love and care for all of those within our congregation and our loved ones who are suffering from illnesses, from things that are holding them down, and ask that they recover entirely and speedily. We also light this morning a candle of joy, representing all of the May weddings that are beginning to occur. I know we have several members of our own community who are visiting family and with them, and it is indeed that time of the year. So we light a candle for love. And we light one final candle as we do each week for all the joys and all the sorrows that, although unspoken, are held in just as much love and prayer. I invite us now into a time of shared silence and reflection. We'll sit together for a couple of minutes, and at the conclusion of the time, I will ring the singing bowl.
So now I will read a poem called Kali the Mother. And it was written by Swami Vivekananda, name that many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with. It's one of the first people who brought classical Hindu thought into the West and came for the first World Parliament of Religions that was held in Chicago over a century ago. So this is his poem to Kali. It's called Kali the Mother. The stars are blotted out. The clouds are covering clouds. It is darkness, vibrant sonnet. In the roaring winds are the souls of 1,000,000 lunatics just loose from the prison house, wrenching trees by their roots, sweeping all from their path. The sea has joined the fray and swirls up mountain waves to reach the pitchy sky. The flash of lurid light reveals on every side 1,000,000 shades of death, begrimed and black, scattering plagues and sorrows, dancing mad with joy. Come, O Mother, come. For terror is thy name. Death is in thy breath. And every shaking step destroys a world forever. Thou time, the old destroyer, come, O Mother, come. For who dares misery love and hug the form of death, dance in destruction's dance, to him the mother comes. So friends, this is the mother we invoke today. Her name is Kali. Kali comes from the Sanskrit root kal, and kal has two meanings. One is black or dark, and the other meaning is time. So one can think of her as dark time. And when I think of her as time, I think of her not as your linear tick-tock clock time, but as circular time. If she had a motto, it would be something like, anything that is born must die, and anything that dies must be reborn in some form, somehow, somewhere. Actually, not too different from what we say in modern physics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it can only change forms. And we also know that matter and energy are interconvertible. So it's her wisdom of the circular time. So, I thought the best way to invoke her in this circle, in this group, is to tell you a story. Tell you a story of how she was born. And as we tell the story, we will see how that applies to our lives today. So the story opens when heaven, the abode of the gods, has been taken over by the demons. The demons have staged a coup, and the gods have been driven out. So let's just take a moment here to think about gods and demons. So if we read in scripture, when we see ancient paintings, gods are described as these beautiful, luminous, magnificent beings. Their skin tone is often described as milky white. It's described as honey-like, or sheaves of wheat ripened in the sun. They are bejeweled, they wear beautiful clothing, they have these gorgeous weapons. You might call it weapons of mass destruction if you want. They are the ones who are in control, who are in charge, who run the show. And the demons, they're dark, black, sometimes half human, half animal, often described as having horns or tails or snouts, naked or almost naked. And their weapons are things like sticks and bows and arrows, maybe a scythe that you use to cut rice. Ring a bell? Psychologically, to me, we are speaking about ego and shadow. The part of us that we think is in control, that runs the show, that has all the equipment it needs to continue status quo. And we have the shadow, the things we say, not me. It's nothing to do with me. Doesn't exist. That's psychologically. And socially, I come from a colonized country, an ex-colonized country. I see this as colonization, as slavery, as taking away other people's land. So this is the battlefield, my friends. This is the battlefield in which we stand at the beginning of this story. Now, the gods want to get back heaven, of course. There's a big problem, though, because the king of the demons happens to be a very adept yogi. His name is Mahishasur, and Mahishasur literally is composed of two words, Mahish, which is buffalo, and Asur is demon. So he's a buffalo demon. He's a shapeshifter. He can sometimes be a buffalo, sometimes be a demon. He can change into other forms as well. But he has done this long penance, and he has prayed to Brahma, the creator, for many eons, and he has received a boon from Brahma. And the boon says, no god or man can kill him. So the gods are in a bind. What can they do? So they go to Brahma, the creator, and ask him to help. Brahma can't help because he has given the boon. So he goes to Vishnu, the preserver, and finally all of them go to Shiva. He's the yogi of the gods, so maybe he will have an answer. He listens to their story, he sits in meditation, and goes deep in his meditation. Comes out of the meditation with a solution. And he says, okay, I got this. The boon is no god or man can kill this demon, but a woman can. So we're going to create a goddess. All right? So all the gods get together, they project their energies into space, and from this collected energy of all of the reigning gods, a being emerges. Her name is Durga. Durga comes from the word Durga, which is a fortress. So she's invincible, she's impenetrable. And the gods give her their best clothing, their best jewelry. They give her their best weapons because she is going to be the representative in this war against the demons. And she's given as her mount a lion. Lion, leonine energy, the masculine in its full glory. So Durga, in some ways, is like many of us, like me. She's the daughter of patriarchy. She has the blessing of the fathers. She has the weapons of the fathers. And what the fathers can't do, she's being asked to do. So she rides this lion, rides into heaven, and in a voice that resounds the three worlds like a thundercloud, she says, come meet me in the battlefield. She's often described as 1,000 suns. Her glamour, her luminosity is of 1,000 suns, S-U-N-S, suns. So The demons initially laugh. Like, what, a woman? That's the best you can do? By the way, she has 10 arms, and on each arm she holds a weapon. Yeah, so she's not just us, a little bit more advanced. Okay, so the demons first laugh, but she won't leave, and the lion is roaring, and she is beating her battle drum. So the demons send out sort of their low-ranking warriors, thinking that, we don't need to work very hard. She kills them, no problem. Now the demons send out some better trained warriors, killed. And it goes on and on and on, and the gods are celebrating. They're like, okay, heaven's going to be back in our hands. We did a good job. Slap each other's back. We did well. Look, we trained her really well. And looks like they're going to win. But the demons, they have something that the gods didn't know about. They have a secret weapon. And now they send their secret weapon into the battlefield. It's a demon whose name is Rakta Bija. Rakta is blood, and Bija is seed. So his name is blood seed. And his secret weapon is this. He is just like any other demon, and Durga can easily attack him, cut him with her sword, her flaying knife. But every time a drop of his blood falls on the ground, 1,000 new Rakta Bijas are born. So actually, her prowess in battle becomes her problem, because the field is very soon swarming with Rakta Bijas. There are thousands upon thousands of them, and everything seems like the tide has turned, and they're not going to win the battle. So this is a moment of reckoning. Durga stops. She realizes that all the blessings as a daughter of patriarchy that she has received from the fathers, not sufficient. Her brows furrow in concentration. Her face reddens in anger and frustration. And from her brow pops out another goddess, her dark sister, Kali. Kali is everything that Durga is not. We have described Durga before. 10 arms, beautifully dressed, shining like 1,000 suns, all the weapons. Kali is black, dark. One of her names is Maharatri, the eternal night. She's naked. She is shriveled, old, wild hair, long pendulous breasts. And the worst of it all is that she has this long, lolling red tongue from where there's like dribbles of saliva dropping down. She is everything that Durga is not. She is Durga's shadow. And now she's been manifest because that's the only way that something can change. The battle resumes. Durga is animated again. And now Durga starts to slash the demon, and every time a drop of blood falls, before it can fall on the ground, Kali, with her long tongue, just laps it up. And she picks up Rakta Bijas 10 at a time, puts them in her maw, and laughs and cackles. And together, the Rakta Bijas are destroyed. Finally, Mahishasur comes, the king of the gods, and there's a beautiful battle. We're not going to get into that. The description is just extraordinary. Eventually, he is killed. Heaven is regained, and the conch shell is blown to mark the end of the war, beginning of peace, and a new order. So that's the story. And I want us to take a moment to really see what this story is actually telling us. Because on a superficial level, we could say this is a story of good over evil. And I think we'll be wrong if we stop there. Because there's a lot of lessons here that are really meant for our time today. First, while you can create solutions like Kali, who are really well trained, who have all the weapons, who have all the techniques and methodology that status quo can provide, it's not sufficient to win the war. What has to happen is the shadow needs to be faced, needs to be manifested, needs to be shown. The other thing that I find really, really interesting is Kali is really not in the battlefield. She's not in the picture until there's an impasse, until there is no other way for us to go forward in the story without invoking this being who completely changes the order of everything. And that is often the case. I mean, in AA, one often hears about hitting rock bottom. Rakta Bija is our rock bottom. Rakta Bija cannot be addressed with just a little bit more force, just a little bit more willpower. So maybe we can take a moment to think about all the places where we have Rakta Bija running rampant in our inner worlds, in our outer worlds. In our outer world, we can think about the pandemic, think about the wars, climate crisis, the phobias of all kinds, xenophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia. I mean, we can go on and on and on. And these are really racism, sexism, and these are really things where Rakta Bija has been put into the battlefield. It's like every time you try to cut something down, 10,000 other brethren come up. On a psychological level, how many of us feel tired, exhausted? We don't have it anymore in us to take that next step, to fight the next battle. We're constantly chasing comfort of some kind, some place where I can rest and say, okay, I'm okay. And we don't find it. We go into depression, we go into anxiety, social alienation, often followed by addiction. Again, Rakta Bija running rampant. And this is when our only solution, I believe, is to invoke this energy of Kali. This energy that is this ugly, dark, disgusting, unwelcome energy that says the old order is dead. It needs to be killed, it needs to be shredded into pieces so something new can arise. A death that is followed by a rebirth. But a rebirth cannot happen if we leave the current system on life support, whether internal or external. And that is her invitation to us. And the question is, are we ready? Are we ready to see that part of us that we have always said, not me, I don't have that. I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I'm not fill in the blanks. Are we ready to face what in us lives that has been shoved? And Rakta Bija really, I mean, in some ways, I think of him as that malignancy, because he is really like cancer, right? It's an uncontrolled dividing, and that happens when we push something down and down and down and down until it breaks open. It's like a festering wound that has finally broken open, and we have it all around us and inside us. So I'll leave you with this final thought about Kali. To really change, because we all want change, we all want that long arc towards justice. But for that to happen, we need to face our own shadows. We cannot be good people doing things for bad people or fixing bad people or bad conditions or bad situations. Are we ready? That's her call to us. Thank you. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality.
Amen. By which I simply mean, may it be so. Please rise now in body or in spirit, and let's join our voices in our unison benediction. The words are in the order of service. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always.
द्यौ शान्तिः अंतरिक्ष शान्तिः पृथ्वी शान्तिः आप शान्तिः औषधय शान्तिः वनस्पतय शान्तिः विश्वे देव शान्तिः ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्व शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सा मा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्ति 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 ॐ